have to have a place where potential people can come if they're, especially if they like the computer, which so many internet searches star on the computer right now. You've got to have a place online where someone can fill out a short sale application, where you can communicate with the borrower via a short sale. Because remember, so much of it is communication, and you have to have a place where they can feel comfortable to go to fill out an application, where you can send them docs, where they can receive docs, where they can upload docs, where they can see the notes, see what's going on with the file. Not only them, but everybody. Okay, so we're going to pretend that you're getting an initial application from the very beginning. Okay, so you've sent someone to your website, okay, which in my case happens to be Success. My test one is success.sssmaine.com. Okay, and you know, we're gonna, and they're filling this out. So they go here and they say, oh, this looks good. It's fast, easy, it's secure, and you've obviously sent them there, or you've been found in a Google search, and they're filling out the short sale application. I'm going to go ahead and make the. I'll keep that to myself. All right. So I don't give away all my secrets. I just hit caps lock. That's not good. So I'll go back and do that. And hit apply now. So when they apply now, what they're going to see here is they're going to see their login information, which can still be changed, okay, and enter the homeowner's name and the property address, okay. So we're going to do that. Okay, I'm just going to put 1111111. Well, you'll be living on 1010 Main Street, okay? All right. We'll put Hamilton, Montana. I know you just moved. Sorry. Okay, so anybody following along, can we do the same thing or watching now? It's 59840. Okay, so they just signed up, so it's that easy. So now they're going into the site. Okay, welcome. You've just taken an important step to avoiding foreclosure. Please write down your login. And you can see I just got an email that I've received a new lead in my pipeline. Okay, so that's nice because it shows you that you got you have a new file. Okay, so you'll get that. Hey, all right, I have a potential short sale client here, which is really nice. Okay, please check the email inbox for email verification as well. All right, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So when they get into this, to the application, and we're going to go through a basic short sale application right now and how this should work. So whether you have software or whether you don't, okay, is irrelevant. What I'm showing you here is that you have got to, one way or the other, all right, get this information from them. So you either sent out, so if you don't have the software or anything, you just got to do it the old-fashioned way. They're going to need to come by our office, or they're going to need to, you're going to need to email over to them in application. Okay, so we're going to go down a basic application, and we're going to go from there. All right. So their information, we'll put in the phone number that they put in initially is there. We'll go ahead and put in a mailing address. I know this is a little bit, you know, boring to watch all this happen, but it's just important to go, because we're going to talk about some little idiosyncrasies and things like that, okay? 59870 there. Okay, hit save. All right, so they fill this out. They're going to enter in their social security number, okay? They're going to enter in their social. They're going to enter in their date of birth, okay? Is there a co-borrower for the property? It's going to ask them yes or no. It's very important to have that information, okay? You don't want them to omit that. But also, do you remember yesterday that I said you do not want to put anybody that is not on the mortgage coupon onto the application for the short sale, okay? So if only Kev is on the if only Kevin is on the mortgage coupon, we're not going to put Mrs. Kevin in there, okay? So we're just not going to do that, all right? So we're just going to say for all intents and purposes that no, okay, there is not, all right? Are you claiming a hardship? Yes or no, okay? And save and continue. So this is very easy for them, okay, to fill this out. We don't ask a lot of questions in a row. It's seemingly less daunting than a large, when they get a big, mortgage application like the bank may send over. But anyway, what we're trying to do is we're trying to figure out, obviously, where they live, what their mailing address is, and then what they make. Let's just say it's $5,000 in $4,000. I know Kevin makes like 2 million times more than that, right, Kev? All right. So, and if there's any commission, overtime, tips, child support, alimony, anything like that, that can also be entered into the application. But this is really, it is so important to get this information. I can't even begin to explain it because this goes to budget, and this goes to what they can afford every month and everything else. So they would hit Save and Continue. This is very easy for them to fill out. Then they would go down through their monthly bills. Now, the data that we're collecting here is going to be put onto an output form. So they're initially signing up here, okay, to your site, and you're going to get that email alert or whatever, okay, and you're just going to go in here and you're going to just, they're going to do this. And the nice thing is when you log in as a user, you can, so if they miss something or something's incomplete or you don't understand anything, of course you can edit it too. But what they see and what you see is completely different, okay? All right. So they're going through this. Let's just say that that's all of their bills. All right. If there's anything in their checking or savings account. Now, remember that on the HAPA RMA form, it said someone had asked a question yesterday, what about 401k and the annuity income, et cetera? That is not to be included. So this is a catch-all because some applications ask for it, but it will not stamp or it will not go on to the output if it's not necessary for that bank or for that form. Because all of this data that we're collecting here with the most popular bank apps will actually stamp onto the bank app, okay, for you. But anyhow, let's just put in 2000 and 2000. And thanks again for being my guinea pig, Kev. I appreciate that. So if you're following along and you're doing your own application, don't use your email. Use someone else's email if you're going to be doing an example, because you can't be the owner of the site or the owner of the trial site as well as the borrower, okay, because you only have one email. All right, so the next thing that we are asking a client is about, we found out where they lived and about their what their mailing address, their income, their expenses, their assets, their hardship. So they can choose their hardship, or they can just put something in their own words. If any of these things apply, they can do that. I always put in here I was a subprime mortgage broker, and I gave myself a stated option arm, and now it has matured, and I can no longer afford my home. Okay, so again, this is very easy for them. So they're going through, they're filling this out. Is there a second mortgage on this property? It would ask them yes, or if there's a third mortgage, yes. Now, it's something that, so this, again, we're going to see more when we open up the admin side of this or the full app to this, but this is just what the client will see initially, okay? So is there a second mortgage in this property? Is there a third mortgage on this property? If you click yes and yes, it'll open up second mortgage and third mortgage over here. Are there any other liens on title? Remember, and this is just part of that problem solving, if they click yes there, do you think that it would be a good idea to ask them about, what that was perhaps? Remember that title report that we looked at yesterday that they owed the kitchen sink, the painter, the fence dude, the lawn dude, this dude, that dude, this person, that person, and pretty much everybody in Riverside County? Sure. And that's probably, remember, something that you should take. So if they click yes here, that's going to need, a light bulb is going to need to come on in your head, and it's going to need to tell you to check that out, okay? So what we're working on the back end of our software, and that's in 2.1, 2.0 just came out, is when someone clicks, and it does this on many of the things, but on everything that they click, if there's something that you need to think about, we're going to have that come up under, we're deciding what we're going to call that tab right now, but it's pretty fun to watch it in motion. All right. So they did that. It opens up. So they need to add their lender, so they can choose their lender from the drop-down list. All right. Let's just say Bank of America. Okay. It'll put all the phone numbers in there and everything else for that particular bank. hit save. Those are automatically in there. All the bank app, all the bank phone numbers, and everything that you got yesterday in the class are already in there. But the important thing here is the loan number, realistically. Okay. The current balance, let's just say it's $250,000. The monthly payment, let's just say it's $2,500. Okay. Now, it's very important, and you can, and if they're not filling this out by themselves, they're dictating this to you, and you're filling it in for them. That's fine. But the fact of whether you're doing that, handwriting it or in here or wherever you may be doing it, but you've got to get their loan number because that's going to be stamped on the top of every page. Okay. That is going to be stamped on the top of every single page. You have got to get their current balance if you're going to be doing any loss analysis, their monthly payment for their budget. There's lots of information that you need to get there, but it's good to know the bank, right? It's also good to know. It's also good to know the loan number because that's going to go on just about every single thing, not only the bank app, but the authorization and everything else. Okay, so I'm just going to hit save here. I'm not going to fill in the second mortgage info. I'm just going to go over to mortgages and click no. They don't have a second mortgage. Okay. So anyway, they're filling out this application, all right? So one way or the other, the first thing that we need to make sure is that we get an application from the seller, okay? So here's some important questions that okay, have you received notice of foreclosure or default by bank or attorney? Okay. Yes. Have you received from your bank any modification, forbearance, or workout? No. Have you attempted a modification? Yes. Are you behind on payments? Yes. Total amount in checking and savings. Okay. Size of the household, 5. Are you currently within a bankruptcy or considering a bankruptcy? No. Have you sought credit counseling? No. Has an offer been received? No. Okay, because sometimes it's FSBO, etc. So these are things that you need to know. Why? Have you received a notice of foreclosure? Well, because you may need to postpone the sale date, right? Sure. I remember yesterday I said if they're currently doing a modification or they've attempted one, it may still be in. If they've received a workout from their bank, you need to know about that. If they've attempted a modification, that's different than receiving something from their bank. We need to know, yes. Either way, if they have received something from their lender, okay, if they have, you need to see it. Because that may be that half of stuff that we were talking about yesterday. Have you attempted a modification? Yes. Well, okay. Are you still within it? Okay, it should prompt you to ask that. Why? Because you're going to need to write a letter to the bank that says they no longer, Kevin no longer wants to do a loan modification. Please take me or take him out of the loan modification program and put him into the short sale program. Okay? You've got to know that because we had some with Chase. We're like, why? And Chase is usually really good. I love them. Why in the world is this taking forever? They weren't late in their payments, but come to find out down the road, we asked them this. Are you doing a modification right now? That's why we added another question anyway. But it's, you know, come to find, this was about 2.5 years ago, when it come to find out, the reason why it was going around and around and around in a circle is because they were in the modification department at Chase, although they hadn't been actively pursuing one for over 6 months. Their file was still in the queue, if you will. And because it was still in the queue, when it's in modification, it cannot also be in short sale. So you can only be doing one thing at one time. Okay, so all right. So those are the questions, or some of the questions that need to be asked, and you need to know the answer to. And we're asking that up front. We want to get this stuff out. We want to find out all we want to know about all the elephants in the room, if you will. Okay. You saw this yesterday, but the half and half of pre-qual. This needs to be, these questions need to be asked either on an initial application that you send over to them or if they come in through here. Is this your primary residence? Yes. Have you lived in it in the last 12 months, and can you verify that with phone, internet, satellite, or power bill? Why is this important? Because if they click, yes or no, so this is going to determine whether it's half or a HAMP. But if they're trying to do a loan mod or if they're trying to do a short sale. But have you lived in the home within the last 12 months, and can you verify that with a phone, internet, satellite, or power bill? they click yes there, I mean, realistically, and down the road, the bank finds out that that they weren't, so far as you know they were, because they checked that, right? Is your total mortgage balance, including all so is your total mortgage balance less than $729,750? Yes. Did you get your loan prior to January 1st? Yes. Is your bank on this list? Okay. That'll pop up all the banks that do HAFA and HAMP. Okay. All right. And we'll click yes. And are you currently facing a hardship? Yes. Okay. So it's really here on this page. It does not tell you whether we do not tell them whether they qualify for HAFA or HAMP. Only when the agent logs in will that happen. Okay. So we'll do save and continue. So those are the questions. Whoops. Sorry about that. Those are the questions that you really need. They really need to answer for you, because if they answer yes to all of those questions, it's okay if it's not their primary residence right now for HAFA, but that is something that we need to know if they'll also qualify for HAMP if they're asking about a loan mod. Okay, for those that a great way to get listings, okay, is to have an easy way for people to fill out an application. Number one, but number two, sometimes people are on the fence. For whatever reason, they believe every attorney that they've ever seen on TV that says, I can get you a principal reduction guaranteed, just give me $3,000, okay, retainer, and we'll work on it. And then, sadly, at the end, they tell them that not only can they not get them a loan modification, but they a principal reduction. And the people just wasted $2,000 or $3,000. It's a huge scam. Thousands of attorneys have been disbarred for that. And quite frankly, less than 0.1% of all loan modifications historically have received a principal reduction. Okay, it just is not happening. Okay, very few banks offer that. They now say that HAMP will allow a principal reduction, but banks are going, if I'm going to reduce principal, I'm just going to make them sell the house and do a short sale, and I don't have to deal with this person that isn't making a payment. Okay, so these are the questions that need to be asked for HAFA and for HAMP. And back to the loan mod thing, whether you do them for your clients or whether you don't, you need to know about them, and we covered them yesterday. Not at length, obviously, because it was a short sale class. I do a loan mod class. But the fact of the matter is that one way or the other, they're going to say, well, what about loan modification? Somebody somewhere is going to ask you that, and they're going to say, I just want to try that first. Well, you know what? That's pretty awesome, because the system, whether the system that you see in front of you here or in that folder that I gave you yesterday, Dropbox, that came with the class, whether you do it automatically or longhand, is irrelevant. You're going to be able to have at your fingertips all of the forms that they're going to need to do a loan mod and or a HAFA, or so anything MHA, making home affordable. You have that. You have a HAFA in a HAMP folder inside your Dropbox, okay, which is right here. Okay, so and again, I'm in the software because it's easier for you to follow along that way. But you also have that right here. Okay, so if they're going to want to do a loan mod, you're going to want to, if they're Spanish, send them the Spanish RMA. But you're going to want to send them the new RMA with the Dodd-Frank, the HAMP handbook, so that they can read that. If they want to read more up on the program or more about this, you can do that. You can send, and you can just send that application over to them, and that'll save them hours or months. And you made the package for them, and so they're going to come back to you and list, because you helped them without charging them $3,000. You know, you gave them a loan mod package. I'll show you how easy that is. All right, so we'll save and continue. All right, now they need to put in their property information. Okay, is the home in serious need of repair? Yes. Do you have more than one property? No. If they clicked yes, what would you then do? Once you talk to this person, hi, I'm Jason. I was just calling you from ABC Realty. I got your application. Thank you so much. I'm going to get this thing processed. I may need some stuff for you. You know, check back here, and check back with your checklist and your notes and your tasks and everything throughout the file. But I saw that you had checked one property. How many properties did you have? Well, I had 5. Are they in the area here locally or in this county? Yeah, I bought a bunch of investment properties. It didn't turn out to be such a good investment. Well, great. Well, I should sure love to talk to you about that. But let's do this one first, and we can talk about that in the future. And that's why we asked that question, is so it opens up the door for referrals for you. Okay, so they can put in the type of property, okay, the condition of the property, how many bedrooms and how many baths, the age of the property, the square footage, just helps you. And obviously you can look this up as well. Okay, is there a garage? Yes. Save and continue. All right, if they want to upload any property photos, they can do so here. And if they want to put in what the repairs are, they can do that there. Now, property photos are very, very important, especially of the repairs. So if there's repairs there, don't tell the bank that there's repairs. You show the bank that there's repairs. All right? I'm just telling you. You can't tell these banks anything these days. You must show them. You must show them. So we allow the client to upload photos if they have some, which helps us, because remember, this may be prior to the listing. All right? And also the repairs. Okay. All right? So we're still determining whether we want to take this client on, right? Because this is just our initial application. We are acting as the seller of the home or potential seller of the home right now. And if there's anything wrong with repairs, these are the basic things that we want to know up front from one of our sellers, all right? So they can hit save and finish, okay? It says, congratulations, your application has been submitted for a review, and a representative will contact you soon. Fantastic. They were also emailed. Kevin probably got to his email. Correct me if I'm wrong, Kevin. But you got to your email a welcome email, okay, which has a link. So they can click the link and check in and put in their passwords and everything else, okay? So next time when they log in, they can check the checklist. If there's anything that you need them to do, it would be there. They can check any notes that you've written to them or what's going on with the file. And if they have any tasks whatsoever, they'll show up here. Obviously, we just started this and we haven't set those up. But when the client logs in, we can do that. And Kevin said he got the email. Fantastic. Awesome. So now, Kevin, in the password's Kevin1. Okay, so that was real tough. Hope I didn't give away any big secrets there, but anyhow, obviously it's a mock file. It doesn't matter. So you'd be able to log into this, and I'm going to. So this is what so when the client logs in, every time the client logs in, they'll go to the home page. They'll see if they have any tasks, okay, on their overview page. If they have any checklist items that you need them to upload. All right. So it's very nice way for you to communicate with them. All right. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is X out of here, and I'm going to log in as an admin, and we're going to go through the rest of the file flow inside the software and outside of the software, okay, in what we do. So we got the app. We either had them go to the site or we send them over, remember our listing packs, okay, or we send them over the listing pack, okay? So they came to the site, or we're in the Dropbox that I gave you in a class yesterday, we sent them over the generic listing pack. One way or the other, you have got to get that. But when you find out that you have someone that's interested in having you list the home, you need to send them an application. I call it a listing pack. Other people just call it a short sale app, whatever you want to call it. You have some that are pre-made here. You also have, under your listing pack, all of the stuff that we looked at yesterday, and you can just put all of these things together in one attachment. Please do not ever send a client 20 attachments in one email. That'll drive you bonkers. It'll drive them bonkers. You want to talk about setting it up bad. So yeah, with what you were given yesterday, you can configure a package with what's here. Okay? All right. So one way, so we got that. They filled out the application either electronically or manually. They've hand filled it out, and they've gotten it back to you, or they're in the process of getting it back to you. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and log out here, and I'm gonna log in as me. Then what we're going to go through now is we're going to go through the application that I see as a broker or as an agent or as the person facilitating the short sale negotiator, etc. All right, and so we're going to review the application. We're going to fill in any holes. I'm going to show you how to properly do that, and then we can carry on. So let me just clear my cookies here, clear my cache, so I don't remember the other password. Okay. So now I'm logging in as an admin, all right? And there's a lot more for me to see, okay? So I have all of, when I log in, I have all of my files, okay? I have all of the training videos, how to do certain things and certain little short sale techniques and everything inside the software, okay? I have my tasks that I have to do that day, and anything that is my responsibility to upload I have here, okay? So I'm going to be like, all right, this is great. I just got an email. Let me go up to my pipeline, and look, I have a new lead, okay? So whether this is your fax machine or whether it's your software or whatever it is, you have a new lead, right? And there's Kevin, okay? So I'm going to click on Kevin's file, and I'm going to get in there, okay? So what the first thing that I'm going to want to do, and the first thing that you're going to want to do, is you're going to want to look over what is here, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to scroll through here that the application is complete. Whether you're doing it in the software, you're looking at something that they faxed you or sent you, you're going to look over the application. You're going to make sure it's complete, okay? And I want Kevin to be able to view his public notes. I want him to be able to post notes, and I want him to get email notifications inside of the system. So I'm setting some permissions, some things that he can do. Now, I don't want Kevin to see the private notes where I'm screaming at a negotiator or something like that. So I will not give Kevin access. In fact, I don't want Kevin to put any notes inside the system. I just want him to be able to view them and get an email when I update the file, okay? So I'm going to go through Kev's app. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to look through the income. I'm going to look through the expenses, the hardships, the mortgages, okay? But the main thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to HAFA and HAMP. And it says at this time it may appear that Kev qualifies for HAFA or HAMP, okay? So that's where I'm at this point. So I see that. I don't have an offer. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do, but based on all the information, you know, what I see here and what he's put into his application, which I take at face value right now, it looks like I'm going to want to do, or at least consider, HAFA on this person, okay? So I know this now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my file up or set it up so that or have my processor set it up or my setup team set it up or have Liz set it up. I'm going to have them look at the overall file, you know, look at the mortgage, who the mortgage is with, etc. But, you know, it looks like, so I'm just swaying towards HAFA, okay? The client has expressed some concern to me that the deficiencies be released, that they'd like a little bit of moving money because they heard from their neighbor or whatever, okay? So I'm just going to go HAFA. So this is a lead right now. So I need to determine, so I've determined that I want it to be a HAFA file. So I'm just going to go up, I'm going to click leads, I'm just going to make it a HAFA file, okay? So I've decided now I'm going to make it now, and then I get an email that a new HAFA file has been created in your pipeline, okay? So, all right, so now it's a HAFA file, okay? So I've determined it's going to be a HAFA file. What if tomorrow he's like, you know what, my friend said they don't like HAFA. Fine, go up here and turn it into a short sale file. You can switch from HAFA to short sale to loan mod all the way back and forth. So it's just a matter of what forms are going to be on the documents page, because obviously in a normal short sale, I'm not going to disclose HAFA docs. All right, so we'll keep it there. All right. Now, at this point in time, I remember on our HAFA, when we're doing HAFA or we're looking at our HAFA process, we need to go through the pre-qualification questions, which we've done. Okay, what we need to do now is we need to go see if this is a Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac property. Okay, remember that was one of the steps. So I need to now go to www.freddiemac.com. Okay, I need to do that, and I need to see, do we own your mortgage? Okay. I need to go there and type in this information. So we're going to assume that it is not Freddie Mac or Fannie Mae, okay? But I went there and I did that. Now, if it was Freddie Mac or Fannie Mae, I have to make sure that they do not have how many. I want someone to tell me, what are the rules for Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac as far as assets? How many months mortgage payments? If they have more than how many months, X amount of mortgage payments in the bank, they will not qualify for Freddie if they are owned by Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, and they have this many months worth of payments in the bank or $5,000, with the greater of the two, they will not qualify. So I'm going to look at the question. Yes, Kevin said 3. Perfect. All right. Man, you really are my guinea pig today. Holy smokes. So I may have got, so all right, so let's say it is Freddie Mac. I go back, I look at their assets. I see that they have $4,000 in the bank. Here I'm going to need to put in order to make this, I'm going to put in $8,000. Okay? If it were Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, because he has more than 3 payments in the bank or $5,000, I am going to know that this will not qualify for HAPA. So I'm going to need to go up here and just switch this over to a normal short sale. Okay? That's what I'm going to need to do. However, all right, we're going to pretend that he does not have that much asset in there, and we're just going to keep it at HAPA, and we're going to pretend like he does not have Fannie Mae. Okay? So this is a normal HAPA file. It is not sponsored by, it's not GSE sponsored, so it's not with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Now what we are going to do is we are going to continue through the file. Yeah, John, John said that the HAPA drop-down is not appearing on my screen next to his name like yours. The reason is because you're logged in as him, John. You'll need to log in as your admin. Okay, so you should be able to see this quick view. Oh, the reason is it doesn't say lead up there, John. John, if it says lead, if you're following along, which I'm so happy some people are, John, if it says lead up there, you'll need to switch it to HAPA. If that drop-down's not showing up at all, it's because either you used your same email and you can't do that because you were the admin person, and or you're logged in as a standard user or a restricted user, because it won't allow you to use the same email twice. So it could be you should be seeing what I see, but if you use the same email, it won't happen. Okay, so just let me know. Keep me informed there. Okay, and then after, I'd be happy to walk you through it. Okay, so we're going through all of this, so we need to make sure that the hardship letter, okay, is filled out. All right, and any of these questions or any of these things that apply are there. Okay, don't make stuff up. So what we're doing now is either we've got it through our fax machine or we've got it through the software. We're just going through the app to make sure everything's hunky-dory. All right. All right, so I'm just going to go through, I'm going to be like, okay, I opened this up for HAPA, and there's a few questions that are blank. So I'm going to need to get in the same thing. If you get an application sent back to you and it's blank, or there's some missing forms or missing fields, whether it be in the software or whether it be on a manual piece of paper that they filled out, you need to call them right away and get all of the data, because right now you are still deciding whether you want to list this property. So you're going to need all their mortgage info. Is the mortgage currently behind? Does the homeowner have a second or third mortgage that's been charged off or sent to collection? If they would click yes, that they have a second and or a third mortgage that's been charged off and sent to collection, I would not put this under HAPA. The reason I would not put this under HAPA is because the chances of something that's in collection, a second or junior mortgage lien holder, okay, settling for $6,000 if the balance is if the balance is $10,000, yeah, they'll settle for $6,000. But if the balance is anything over probably $30,000 to $50,000, it's just like it's just one of those things that it's just not going to happen probably for $6,000. So proceed with caution. But charged off second or third or junior lien holders are very difficult to get to settle for the typical amount that a second would settle for. If this was just a normal second, it would definitely work at $6,000. But on a charged off second or third, so you need to know that for HAPA. And do you have mortgage insurance? Remember, we talked about some of the idiosyncrasies of mortgage insurance yesterday. So if they click yes and yes, I don't know that I'd even want to take this listing, quite frankly. You might, but you may not want to. So proceed with caution there, okay? And I want you to see all these questions, all right? Now, once you've moved that, remember we have this as a lead, and it moved over to HAPA, okay? And you don't want to fill this in for the client. You can have the client, now all of these other fields have opened up for the client. The client can go back in and not fill all that out. It's up to you, but I find the building report, you can just call them and ask them the 4 or 5 things that they've missed. It's up to you, but they can get back in there and do that, all right? So I'm just going through this application. Hey, do you want to keep or sell this? I want to sell it. Is this your primary residence or your second home? We're going to put primary residence. Now, if they put second home, that's okay for HAFA, but they have to have it had to have been their primary home within the last how many months? Somebody? It's okay if it's vacant, second home, or tenant occupied now, but within the last how many months would it have had to have been, if you're going to get qualified for HAFA, your primary residence? Exactly. The answer is 12. Okay, everybody said 12. Thank you so much for answering that. That's great. Okay. So let's just put it as the primary residence. That's fine. The property is occupied by owner. Is the property listed for sale? Yeah, not at this point. Is it for sale by owner? No. Property taxes are paid by the lender. Okay. The property tax is current. We'll put yes because the lender will always pay those. Has a sale date been issued yet? We'll put yes. Okay. So if the client put yes here, or you heard yes to this question, okay, if it were Fannie Mae, and we learned this yesterday, right? If it were Fannie Mae and there's a sale date, if it's within how many days? If it's within how many days can you not make this a Fannie Mae short sale? Yeah, baby. All right, I'm loving it. Everybody said 60. That's correct. If it's Fannie Mae, so owned by Fannie Mae, so you went to fanniemae.com and you did a loan lookup, and it's within 60 days, okay, the sale date. Now, you can have a sale date. Absolutely, you can have a sale date, okay? But you cannot, it cannot be, so for instance, if it was today, what's today? 12/15, so let's say 1/15, 2/15. So if my sale date was if my sale date is within 2/15, or my sale date is less than 60 days or less, okay, so if it's after, so for the 16th of February, I'm okay. Well, you're going to have to give it a few days, obviously, to get in there and whatnot, but by the time you get the okay for HAFA. So if you have a sale date and it's Fannie Mae, you want to be real careful whether to take it HAFA. You may just want to hurry up and get that in normal short sale and see if you can't get it postponed. But it's probably not a good idea to go HAFA and waste their time and to find out in a month when you only have a month before the sale date that it can't go. So if it's Fannie Mae, it's 60 days. Okay? All right. Okay. See, this is just the problem solving that I want you to see live, all right, in my thought process as I go through this, and why certain questions really make me think. You know, so, okay. So, and these are just more RMA questions. Hazard insurance is paid by the home, by the lender, because they escrowed. Yes, it's current. ABC Insurance Company, and then 406-219-3345 is their phone number. Okay. All right. So now I'm at the property again. If you want to upload some of the property photos, or if they did, but now this is your pipeline. Now there's way more stuff in here than what the seller can see. Okay, so if you want to upload the property photos, I would. This will also go onto the BPO software that's included in here. Okay, so. But you can upload the property photos. I'll just put a few in so that I don't have to bore you half to death. Yeah, you're like, oh, you're already doing that. Oh, thanks. Okay. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. Example house photos, and then we'll just upload a few of these. Can that picture also go up here under quick view? It'd be funny if this was one of your houses. Just by accident, I have it in my Dropbox folder. Okay. Anyway, so we put a couple photos in there. Now, if you have repairs, you need to put those up there. Okay. Yeah. I mean, if you have repair, hold on a second. John, it sounds to me, John, you're in there as the seller, so that's why you can't see that. You need to be on. You need to be in there as your admin. You're in there under a restricted view, John, for some reason. So, in a minute, I'll take a break, okay, and then I'll get you in there under the right login, okay, for sure. All righty. We'll definitely do that. But yeah, you're logged in You're logged in. It looks like perhaps as the seller. Okay, so I'll get that straightened out for you. You're in a seller view or a standard view. So I will, but I'll get you straightened away. A couple clicks of a button and you'll be fine. I just got to show you how to do that, and it's hard for me to stop right now with as many people that are on here and do it. But in a minute, I'll take a break. I'll get you squared away. Okay, so just bear with me for a minute. Be happy to do that for you. Okay. So now, okay, so we're going through those things there. I'm gonna get some photo repairs. I think that would be a good idea for these demonstrations. But let's just do the deck is rotting. You know, I don't know, 2,500. AC was stolen. 3,500. Copper wire was. Copper wire is the new gold rush in California. Copper wire was stolen. 55,000. All right. Whoop. Okay. So they gutted the house, you know, etc. See that the repairs are 61,000. Now, getting back to the repairs, when there are, you have to remember, if especially this really goes to the valuation issues that we were talking about yesterday. Okay, if the client can fill this in, or you can fill this in for the client, but the fact of the matter is that imagine the bank send out a BPO person. The BPO person is not going to see that the deck is rotting because they're on the curb. If they're not sitting there in their boxer shorts, going onto the MLS, right-clicking, save picture as, you know what I mean, and just not even ever going to the house, just, you know, pulling 3 random comps and whatever else. Sometimes I wonder if they ever even show up. I really do. I call it a boxer short BPO. Okay? All right, so the AC was stolen. Well, if they're not in the backyard, they're not going to see that, right? If they don't go in the house, how are they going to even know that it's gutted? So this is why I say that if there are problems with the home, the bank needs to know about it. And there's no easier way than just to throw it in here or in your Dropbox. You'll have, under bank applications, I think it is, but you have BPO, you have blank BPO forms, okay? So, and if they're not in there, I'll make sure Liz puts them in there. Liz, go ahead and put some BPOs. Don't put the short sale success one, but put the other one that we have in there, please, if it's not in there. Okay. But make a separate folder, or I'll do that. I'll do that in a minute. That's fine. I don't see it in there, but it takes me 2 seconds to put it in. All right, it's in there, but I need to just name it BPO. Anyhow, so you put it. If you were to include that in your stack, your file stack that's going off to the bank, guess what they're going to see? So imagine that, okay, so there's $61,000 worth of repairs here, right? So if your BPO comes in, or your valuation, or your listing price is $200,000, but they come back and they get a $260,000 BPO, well, there you go. That's how you can explain that you're right on the money at $200,000, because this house is gutted, and the AC is missing, and the deck is rotting, okay? You walked out back, and there was a deck repair guy halfway through the deck, and you could only see the top part of his body because he fell through. So you can't tell them about that stuff. You got to show them. Okay. We looked at this BPO yesterday. Okay, so you could put in any order number, whatever you wanted to. If you're having someone else do it, the broker DRE number. If it's a referring company. Phone number. Okay, I don't need to fill all this stuff out. Positive features affecting the marketability of the subject property, none. It's horrible. Please provide negative features, everything. Of course, you're not telling the buyer that. No, I'm just kidding. Suggested list price, $190,000. Repaired, $251,000. Probable final, $175,000. Repaired, let's just put that. Okay. Recommendation, sell it before they take the roof. Okay. So now I'm gonna my output on this is going to have a picture of all those repairs and what I think it's worth and my comps and all that stuff. It's very important to put that in there in some way, shape, or form. Remember, we talked about the MLS and everything yesterday. Okay, so it's very, 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 very important that that you'll put that some kind of a yeah. Here's the BPO. The BPO form. I'm going to just copy this, and then I'm going to go back, and then I'm going to make a new folder, and I'm going to call it BPO. All right. I'm going to paste that. So you'll have a BPO form here in there. Okay, for those that don't have or get the software. Okay. It's pretty hard to fill out, but you can do it. But it's all there. Okay. All right. Carrying on. So we'll save and continue. The next thing is some information about the neighborhood. I won't fill all that in. And then the next thing is the comparables. When doing comparables, you want to compare REOs and other short sales, okay? And you want to get as close as you can on the square footage, okay? Okay, the proximity is 0.1 miles, etc. Condition, blah blah blah. Put all that in, okay, and you can save it. Put all that in, and now you have a comp sale. Okay, you need to put in the 3 best sales. Okay, and it's best to have them in the same subdivision if you actually are in a subdivision. In the comparable listings, the same thing to show the trend. All right, do the best you can there. There's probably 20 people on this call right now that can do BPOs better than me. Because I don't do BPOs, but I make sure that I have someone doing them, put them in all my listings, and I really want the agents that we process for to have someone or to do them themselves, or at the very least provide me with a reason why my offer or their offer is a good offer, okay? You can't tell the bank, hey, that's a great offer, just take it. You've got to show them, okay? So it's a show me, don't tell me world. Okay, so I've gone through now. I've gone through their whole application, okay, fantastic. We've looked at all the idiosyncrasies and all the things that could potentially hold us up, okay? And so that's, that's very important. So we're going to take a break for just a second here. Don't go anywhere. I want to get John squared away so that when he's following along, he can he's not stuck. But when I come back, we're going to show how to send over a listing package, how to get the listing package back, what to send over now that it's a HAPA file, what we do with the forms that we get back, how we upload the forms, then how we stack the forms, okay? And we'll go from there, and then how to send them into the bank, and some other things to look out for too. Just give me a minute. Let me get John set up, and we'll be back, okay? I'm going to go ahead and close the screen so that nobody can see it or hear me for a few moments, and I'll be back, hopefully back in about 2 or 3 minutes, okay? We'll see you in just a second. Gone through, so we got this application, right, from the seller, filled in all the stuff, called them, filled in the blanks, or had them log in, okay? So now what I want to do is I want to see, I want to get some things from them, I want to instruct them to do some things, and I want to see some things from them. So what I want to do now is the first thing that I want to do is I want to make a list of everything that I want from them. So now that I know it's going to be HAPA, I need to send them some stuff, okay? So I'm going to click on Documents right here, all right? So and whether you click on Documents here or you just go in your Dropbox file, one way or the other, you're going to have these forms, okay? Because everything that's in here is in the Dropbox as well. But all right, so I've decided that I want to send a HAPA package over to my seller, okay? That's what I want to do. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to say, all right, I want to put all the HAPA forms in here. So I'm going to go to New Package right here. If you're following along, click on the Documents tab, and then click on the New Package, okay? And I'm going to name this package HAPA Application Package. And then I'm going to hit Save, all right? If you don't hit Save and you start moving stuff all over the place, you're going to do it. So what I want to do now is I want to put the RMA over there, because remember, yesterday we went over that we need the RMA from them. If we're going to request from the bank HAFA, okay, I'm going to want to have them fill out the RMA. So I'm going to drag over. You just hold the mouse down and drag it over the RMA, okay? The other thing I'm going to want to do is I want a letter of authorization for them, okay? I'm going to drag that over. I'm going to want the 4506T executed. Okay, I'm going to want to drag that over. I'm going to want, in my initial package, the Mars addendums right there. Okay. And now remember, they've already filled out an application online, so I'm not really sending them over a listing package anymore. I'm more doing the next step, which is, all right, I need to get them to, I've got their initial forms. They haven't signed anything for me yet. I'm going to probably need to call their bank. You know, these are the things that I know that I'm gonna need from them. So let's just we'll just do that. Now, there's also some things I'm going to need from them. I'm going to need them to sign these things, and I'm going to need some of their taxes and everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this so I don't have to do it again. Okay. So now I have that saved, and then I'm going to go over to checklist, which is right here. Okay, so I'm going to click on checklist, and I am going to, so if you're doing it in here, you're going to click on checklist if you're just following along. But if you're not, and you're doing it just manually, okay, you're going to want to send over all these things with a checklist, okay? But we're sending this over to the client. So we've got that whacked and stacked. So what we are going to now do is we're going to make a checklist of other things besides this that we want from the seller, all right? So I'm just going to type it in here. I want your I want the RMA signed, and that's applicant docs, and then I hit save. All right? So it's going to say RMA signed. So I know I'm going to need that in the file. Now I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to put in there. I'm going to put in the authorization. If I can spell it right, I might put it in there. Authorization signed. Save. Okay? Whoops. I didn't put that in under applicant doc, so I'm going to need to choose that. You need to choose where it's going to go or else it doesn't go. So put that in under, put that in there, okay, and you can choose from a lot of these, you can choose from a lot of these things, but you could, authorization signed. Okay, applicant docs, boom. All right. If you don't choose a category, it's not going to go into a category. All right. So now I need the authorization signed. Okay. The next thing that I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want from them the hardship letter is already included in there. Okay. I'm going to want the signed 4506T. All right. So applicant docs. If it's in the drop-down menu, fantastic. If it's not, you can just type it in. Okay. So 4506T. All right. So that's what I'm going to want. I'm going to upload that. So that's the third thing that's in their checklist. Okay. One of the things that is to know is that you need to look at the lists that we've given you. Now, in the Dropbox folder yesterday, you have these stacking lists, okay, that we gave you, and that's where you're getting. I'm looking at that exact form right now because I'm getting old and I forget. But you can go down to these stacking orders right here, okay? So I can look at half a stack, and I'm just typing in the stuff from the half a stack right here, okay? So this is a really good thing, and I'm just going on down here, okay? And that's, you know, a good thing to look at. Now, what we are actually building into the software right now is this stuff is automatically going to be automatically here, so I don't have to go, you know, through and upload these 6 or 7 things. But anyways, all right. So the next thing that I'm going to do is add a checklist document. I'm going to make it be applicant docs. I'm going to put 2009 and 2010 tax signed. Remember signed tax returns. All right. And then I'm going to save. I'm going to take the I out of that so that I don't look like a fool to my seller, but it wouldn't be the first time or the last. I'm going to go ahead and put that in there, okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to checklist again. And once you do this once, you just breeze through this whole thing in like 5 seconds. Applicant docs, I'm going to put in most current pay. Okay, I'm not going to most current pay stubs. Okay, I'll save that. Okay, I should have put in 2 months most current pay stubs. Okay, please forgive me. But we're just putting in there. We've got 2 months most recent bank statements. All right, applicant docs, save. Okay, so we've got enough in here to, oh, we're going to need a utility bill too, right? Okay, proving residence. Save. All right, so I've got the checklist made. All right, now when Kevin logs into his site, he is going to see those checklist items, but we're not done yet. All right, so I need to now know. So I'm going to send these over to the seller right now. Okay, so I'm going to email these over. I'm going to hit email, and I'm going to email these over to Kevin. Kevin, let me know you got these when you got them. Please sign these forms and upload them into the software, please, and don't be afraid to hurry up. No, I'm just kidding. I just met Kevin, so I don't want to be rude to him. Okay, if I want to preview what I'm sending, we can do that here, okay? And it's a very neat way to send over, so it says where I'm sending this, okay? It's a very neat way for them to get this stuff automatically filled in, okay? So they're not writing down all this chicken scratch all over everything. So everything that you've checked and everything that you've written in there stamps onto this page properly, okay? All right? All the income, the assets, everything else, okay? This is the new form with the Dodd-Frank in here. We just actually got this done yesterday. It took us a week to do, but we got it done. So this is what's going over to the seller. Now, if you were decided already you were going to take the listing, of course you could send the listing agreement over here too. All right. The system automatically makes a letter of authorization. Look at that. It fills it in, the loan number, the bank, everything, social security number. Okay, so it automatically makes that. They would just sign that. Okay. Request for transcript. So the 4506T 2011 version's in there. All right. Everything's in there. Okay, and so that gets more. Mars addendums is already in there. Okay. All right, so that goes over to them. So that just got emailed over to Kev. All right. Well, now it did. I'm going to hit send email. So he just got that email. I wanted to make sure everything was going over. All right. Now, what I want to do is I want to go over to my notes now because we take good notes and we want to update everybody. I want to go over to my notes and I want to post a note. Okay, and I want it to be a public note because that's all I've give Kevin, my seller, access to see. I want to write emailed Kevin the package and set checklist items. Kevin, please upload items, both checklist and HAFA forms I need you to sign. Okay, post. All right, so that posted there. So Kevin will get that public note, okay, as well. All right, so that's a note that I put in there. And if I want to set Kevin a task or my seller a task, I can do that here. Now, if you're outside of the system, that's fine. You just do this all through email, all right, one by one. You can add a task here. Title, upload documents per checklist. So you just also set them a task, okay? Please sign and upload all items. Okay. And you can send them reminders every so many days if need be. Just save. Okay. So now I've sent over my listing, all of my my pre-packaged, my pre-listing stuff. Okay. So what's going to happen is I'm going to log out of here. Okay. So all of the stuff that I need him to upload is here. So when Kevin logs in, he will simply just click on this and hit browse, wherever it is on his computer, and upload these items to you. So, and if they don't have that technology, okay, at least what they can do is, hold on, Kevin said he got the package and the note. Okay, perfect. So that's good. All right, so he could log in there and upload all these items. Okay, now if they don't have a scanner, they don't have all that stuff, they can fax them to you and then you can upload them. Okay, that's fine. But at least they know what they need, and that's a nice way for them to, if they have a computer and they don't have a scanner, that's a great way for them to get in there and see that. But one way or the other, you'll just email it to them or call them or mail them the checklist. Okay, and he got the task assignment. Okay, perfect. So he would now be prompted. Now what Kevin got was a link to just click a blue link, and he can log in and see these notes and log into the file, okay, and do all these things. All right. Also, if I said, Kevin, would you please log back in and fill out the rest of that application that you didn't fill out before because some of these tabs weren't there, he's able to now because you've assigned it as a half a file over to him. Now, when he gets into his system, he's looking at this checklist. Look at this checklist. So he can go down this checklist right here and upload these things, okay, or just see what he needs to get to you, all right, and you can clear them once you upload them. He's going to be able to see the notes that you've written him, and he's going to be able to see the tasks that you've assigned him or her, okay? So that is very good, okay? So get all the stuff over to them and make darn sure they know what you need from them and what their tasks are. Whether you email that over to them, use the system, whatever it is that you do or want to do, okay, that's up to you, all right? But that's how easy it is, all right? It doesn't take this long normally because I'm teaching, but you just zip right through it, have the client get involved, everything else, okay? All right, so now I'm going to log back out of his and log back into mine. Are you asleep yet? Okay, good. And what I'm going to do is log into my own system. And now either Kevin has uploaded all of those things, or maybe he's like, you know what, Jason, I just want to email this stuff to you. I'm on my way out the door. Can I just email them to you? Of course. Okay, so I'm going to just enter Kev's file. All right. I'm going to go into the file. I'm going to go over to the Documents tab, and I'm going to upload. I'm going to go over to Checklist, okay, and I'm going to upload these items. Okay, so I'm going to just click on that. It's going to give me the Browse tab the same way I gave it to him, and I can now upload. All of these files. Okay. So I would just have to find. I save everything in Dropbox. That's where I save everything because it saves me time, and I recommend that you do the same thing. Okay, I recommend you open up a Dropbox account. It's free. I think you get 2 gigabytes for free, which is a lot. I don't even think that all of these things is 2 gigabytes right here. And I have pictures. It's not. That's a lot. It's hard to fill up 2 gigabytes, and it's free. So I just have, I just click right here, and I have my Dropbox folder. It's like having a desktop within a desktop, and it syncs to all of my computers. So I have all of my clients' items here. Okay, so I'm going to go to. Inside, anybody that's following along that just did what I did, inside of your folder that I gave you, I have a file named, my computer's running really slow, Short Sale Sync Trial Folder, okay? Forgot what I named it. So I'm going to go through there and find the RMA that my client signed because this is where I put all his stuff. So I'm going to click on that RMA, and I'm going to hit Upload. And it's going to clear that condition off of the checklist. Or if you're doing this manually, because you sent them a checklist, you're just going to go through it all, and you're just going to go down your checklist, okay? So that'll upload that. And then once it uploads that, then you know it's already there, so it's no longer got a caution sign. So now we want to go upload the authorization. And I won't go through all of these and upload them all, just simply because we could be here all afternoon. But I'll go down and I'll find his signed authorization, okay, and I'll upload that. I don't have an example authorization here, so I guess I can go back a folder and upload that. Okay, so I've uploaded that authorization. So anyways, I'll go through all this and upload it. It takes a second. Okay, so now I've got everything that I need. Now I'm going to go switch files. Okay. So I don't bore you to death and upload all of those items, okay? I'm going to switch over to a file that I've already completed called Dodd-Frank, aptly named, right? And we're going to go back into the document section, and we're going to cover how to stack these things that Kevin has uploaded, because Kevin's new name is Dodd. Okay? All right. So the first thing that we're going to need to do is I've already saved these in here how I want them. So remember, we've got the half a file. Now we've got everything back from the seller of the home, right? Everything's up into the system. I've got everything I've asked them for, and I'm going, all right, I'm going to list this thing. So I shoot over through the system the listing agreement. So I'll just send them over I'll send them over the listing agreement right here. I'll email that over to Kev, all right? And then he'll sign that and get it back to me. I'll upload that into my checklist. So now I've got everything ready to go. Now I have no offer, okay? I don't have an offer, but I want to submit for half it, and we spoke about this yesterday, all right? So I'm going to write a half a cover letter that says I want to be included in the half a program. I'm going to put any of the half a forms like the RMA right there, okay? I'm going to then put my authorization. Then I'm going to put my 4506T. Then I'm going to put my tax returns or whatever else, okay? Some people like to put their pay stubs or profit and loss ahead of that. That's fine. We're going to need to put the utility bill in there, so I'll go find a electric bill right there, okay? So I'm going to need to put the utility bill there. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, I got to put some bank statements in there, right? So I've got to find some bank statements. So I'm going to put the bank statements in there, all right? Okay, and then the utility bill, and then what I'm going to put in is the listing agreement. And if you're going to be savvy and send over a BPO that the system automatically makes, or that you can make through the folder I gave you yesterday, believe me, every form that's in here you have in your folder, you're just going to have to do it manually. It's going to take 25 times more time, but you have everything, okay? So now I have the file. This is the exact file, and I'm going to save it. This is the exact file that I'm going to send in right here is the half a submission with no offer, okay? So, and if I want to move something up or down, it's very simple to do that, all right? So I'm going to send this in, but I need to fax it into the bank, all right? So I'm going to go to, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the contacts page now that I've saved that, and I'm going to double check my bank fax numbers to make sure that I'm sending it to the short sale department. So I'm going to double click on Chase, all right, over to phone. And if there's a few fax numbers right here, I'm just going to ensure that the short sale fax number is correct, which this is. And I'm just looking now. Now, this is the contacts page. And remember we were talking about following up for everybody. Now that you're going to submit a file, you need to start updating people, right? So what you need to do is put the listing agent in here, the selling agent in here, the closing agent. If you, well, you don't have an offer yet, so you probably don't have a closing agent yet. You're not going to need an estimated HUD. There's no buyer yet, but anybody that you want to follow up with would go here, okay? And if you want to follow up with somebody, all you do is under permissions, just put yes, they can view or post or get email notifications about any updates, okay? And you can assign them roles if you have a BPO agent that you want to have come into the system and do a BPO. You can assign that to them, and they'll get a login for just to see the BPO. All right, so these are all the people. Now, a red shirt is restricted, a black shirt is admin, and a blue shirt is standard. Restricted people can only see certain things within the file. Okay, I won't cover those now. It's in the. If anybody at the end of the class sees the benefit in the software, we do a full training on that. But the fact is what all the roles are, so you know exactly who can see what. I won't bore you all with that right now. But so all of these people now is time where people need to start getting follow-up emails. So I'm going to make sure that I've checked the box. Yes, they can get those. And I'm going to go back over to documents now. And now I'm going to send this in. So I'm sending this in through my eFax. Okay. So I got half a submission with no offer. I'm going to hit fax. I'm going to select the lender. Okay. And because there was multiple fax numbers for that, the customer service fax, the normal fax, and then the short sale fax, I'm going to choose which fax it was. I'm going to preview what's being sent to them so I don't send in the wrong thing. This is a good idea. This is part of the quality control of the file that we spoke about yesterday. this automatically makes a cover page. It puts the loan number and everything on there. It tells them exactly what order and what is going into them. It has the page number on the bottom of the page and the loan number stamped on the top right, as well as the last four of the social, as well as the client's name. Okay, and that all goes into the bank. But I'm looking at making sure this is all filled in correctly. I'm looking at, you know, all sorts of stuff. I'm basically quality controlling my file. And then I'm going to send this in now. Okay, I'm going to send this in now. Here's the taxes, bank statements, electric bill, listing agreement, BPO. See, it actually puts the photos in for you and everything, the BPO software inside of there, and the comparables. So literally, you know, and it would have taken me an hour to write all those loan numbers and stuff like that on there. And so I can send this in. I'll zip this into the bank. I'll just hit send fax. I'm clearly not going to hit send fax because it'll actually go to them. I wonder what the hell that was. Heck, that was, excuse me. But anyway, now, I sent that in. Okay, I sent in the initial HAFA package. Okay, now that I've done that, they're like, okay, now I get an offer. So what am I supposed to do now that so I put it in there. They sent me back the SSA that said, here's what you can sell the property at, or here's what we need to net. Get me an offer at that amount, that net amount. Now what am I going to do? Okay, so now I'm going to go to I'm going to have to add, they already have all of this stuff, so what am I going to add now? I'm going to make a new package, okay, and I'm going to call, I'm going to say HAFA offer with RAS, okay, and I'm going to save that. So now, since they already have all that other stuff, now the bank just called me and said, all right, listen, send over that RAS and the offer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get, I got to get the RAS. I'm going to have to send in the RAS because that's what they asked for. Sometimes they're going to want the signed SSA from the person, okay, or that included. You have to get that back within how many days? How many days do you have to get back the HAFA SSA? From the date that's on the front of the SSA. Who wants an apple or a sticker? Kevin, you're right in one way. Once they get the SSA, you have 14 days to get. Once you get the SSA, you have 14 days to get it back. But once you get an offer, you have 3 days to send it back into the bank. So we're assuming that we sent in that initial package right here. Okay, HAFA submission with no offer. The bank sent us back the HAFA SSA that says what we can sell it for. That's why you send this in, so you can get this form right here. So now they're going, all right, so now you get an offer, and you have 3 days, okay, to send back the RAS, okay? And you're going to also have to send back the estimated HUD with that, which is called the settlement statement, or HUD-1, that the system auto-generates. Okay, you're going to have to send that in. What else are you going to need to send in? Are you going to have to send it? You think you might have to send in a purchase agreement? Would it be good if it was signed? Yeah, that would probably be good. How about a copy of the earnest money check? And how about a buyer approval letter? Okay? So these are the additional things that you would need to send in, and anything else that they ask for. What if some time had passed and the bank statements are not within 30 days? Well, you're going to need to go back over to the applicant docs, and you're going to need to send in the most recent bank statements again, obviously, to keep the file current. Okay? So those are the things that would need to go in, all right? Obviously, if it was a cash offer, you wouldn't get the buyer approval letter. You just send in proof of funds, okay? So now this would need to be sent in to the lender on a HAFA file, okay? These remaining items, okay, and anything else that the bank asked you for. Now, the bank will send you this stuff in a list of what they need, but this is just an example so that you can see that, okay? So that gets sent over, all right? So now we send that over to the bank. Boom, 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 and off we go. All right. Now, if the file starts with an offer. Okay, so you have not. So you listed the property. You decided you wanted to list the property for Dodd or for Kev, and you listed the property. Okay. Now, but you have not. But you have not. You have not pursued HAFA yet in any way. You hadn't sent in this no offer package. Okay. You hadn't sent in you haven't sent in the no offer package and got the SSA back. So you're just deciding now, because I got something in the mail or you just feel like it, that you want to do a HAFA submission with an offer. Okay. So what you're going to do, unless it is, now I have a question. What investor, okay, and there's one, only one, what investor, not investors, what investor will not allow you to send in a HAFA offer if, or will not allow you to send in, or will not consider HAFA for you if there is an offer? Does anyone remember from yesterday? Trick question. That's right. Freddie Mac, okay? So if it's a Freddie Mac, because we already looked, if it's Freddie Mac and there's an offer, all right, you can't send it in. So anybody but Freddie Mac. Fannie Mae will take it unless it's within 60 days of a sale date, okay? So you're going to send in the HAFA request letter, the HAFA cover letter. You're going to send in your RMA. You're going to send in the ARAS, okay, because you have an offer and you do not have an SSA or a RAS. You don't have to send in the Dodd-Frank anymore because it's on the RMA now. Your signed authorization, your 4506, your taxes, your utility bill, profit and loss, most recent bank statement. I like to put the profit and loss right there. Most recent bank statements, listing agreement, signed purchase agreement, okay? Short sale addendum, buyer approval letter, copy of the earnest money check, settlement statement, and a BPO. All right. That would be if it's the first time that you're sending in a file and you have not requested HAFA before. You'll request it on the letter. You'll send in these things, okay, and tell them that you want to be considered for HAFA, all right? Usually takes about 30 days. It's happened for me within 10. That's what they're shooting for, is 10 days, but I can tell you this, that it doesn't always happen, or very rarely does it happen, okay? But that would be a HAFA stack right there, okay, with an offer. So if you're submitting it in and you have not solicited them, you have an offer and you're sending it in and it's not Freddie Mac. Otherwise, it needs to go, if it is Freddie Mac, it just needs to go in as a normal short sale, at which time here, switch it over to normal short sale, okay? So let's stack a normal short sale file, shall we? Do you have enough stamina left to be bored to death through the next phase or of stacking a file? Okay. Well, let's go over here, and we'll just call it first lien submission. All right. Oh, by the way, as soon as you submit anything or do anything in a file, you had better either in the left-hand side of your stack, if you're in a normal manila envelope doing it longhand, you better write down on your conversation log or in notes in the system what you just did. I submitted this HAFA package with no offer and requested an SSA. Okay? Set yourself a task to call back tomorrow to make sure that they got it, the next day, the next day, the next day. All right? So the first lien submission. So if we're going to go through and we're going to stack a file, okay, just a normal short sale file, okay, with an offer. We listed it. We got an offer. It's just absolutely as normal cookie cutter as possible. What are we going to do? Okay. Well, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to we need to put a cover letter in. Okay. So if you've written a cover letter, I don't have a normal cover letter in here, but just for the sake of time, I'll just put in half a cover letter, but obviously you're not sending in a half a cover letter if it's not, it's not half of it. So just forget that it says half of there, shall we? Okay, good. Thank you. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take the bank applications, okay? Let me back up here. So if it's a normal short sale, okay, we're going to send over to the seller, okay? We're going to send over to them the bank applications along with the, the authorization, everything else. So let me start there, okay? So the first thing that we're going to do, all right, is we are going to send over a listing package for a normal short sale, all right? So what we're going to do there is we're going to send over the, we're going to need a 4506T. We're going to need the letter of authorization. We're going to need the hardship for them to sign. We're going to need the MARS addendums, okay? And if the bank does not have an application, we have something here called a standard assistance application that could take the place of that. So that's just a blank application, okay? But we have all of the bank apps in here, so, it's very simple for us to just send this over to them. So if they've gone online and filled this out, or it's the first time, we have all the addendums and everything. So if it's Bank of America, you could send over the Bank of America financial worksheet for Equator. Bank of America, if it's Freddie Mac with Bank of America, Freddie Mac addendum, Bank of America listing and purchase agreement addendum. And so you could just send all that stuff over to them, and then they would fill that, sign all that stuff, and then upload it into the checklist, okay? So one way or the other, that's what you would send over, and then if you wanted to send over your listing with that, you certainly could, okay? So that's what we would do there, all right? So we would send that over. Now, once we get all that stuff back, okay, once we get all of that stuff back, what we're going to do is we're going to stack a normal short sale file, okay? That's what we're going to do. So we'll start with the bank application. So let's just take the financial worksheet from Bank of America, okay? We're going to need that. We're going to need that cover letter, okay? So I uploaded that cover letter that I was writing. We call it a half a cover letter there. So we'll just take that over there. I'll put that first. I'll put the Bank of America a worksheet there. We're going to put over the signed authorization, okay? Any of the Bank of America addendums that we're going to need, which would be the listing and purchase addendum, obviously that would be signed. If it's Freddie Mac, the Freddie Mac addendum right there, okay? All right, so I'm going to do that, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the hardship letter in, okay? Hardship explanation that they've signed in there. The listing agreement, okay? We'll go over to the agent docs because that's where listing agreement is. So we'll put the listing agreement in there. Listing agreement, the short sale addendum. Okay, we're going to need that. All right, on every short sale file. The BPO that someone else in your office did, if you want to put the BPO in there, which I obviously clearly recommend. I think I've made that abundantly clear. Any MLS, you can put your MLS sheet in there if you want. If you don't send the BPO, it's fine. A picture of the house you can put in there. I'm not going to drag and drop that over, but that's more for Equator. But we could do the signed purchase agreement would be next, okay? The HUD-1, okay? So our settlement statement would be here, all right? And so we'll put that in there. Drag that down. A buyer pre-approval okay, pre-approval letter. We can bring that over. The next thing that we would want to do is any pay stubs. Here with this person, we have profit and loss, which is right there. Okay, so we'll put that in there. And then we're going to want the tax returns, okay, for the last 2 years. And the bank statements, right, whoops, most recent bank statements right there. And any other income records, Social Security, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so let's make sure that I did that right. Okay, we're going to want to put the bank statements down right here. We're going to want to put that profit and loss there. 4506T I don't think, so I'm going to want to grab the signed 4506T, put that right there near the taxes, okay. All right. So that would be a file stack, okay? So basically cover letter, the bank stuff, hardship, all the listing agreement, BPO. I put all their financial statements last. Some people put that up here. You put it how the bank wants it on their cover letter. If they have it on their bank app, you stack it in that order, okay? And then you send that into the bank, and then you tell everybody that you did that via notes and or if there's anything else you need via tasks. a task would be call back in how many hours? If you send something in the next day, otherwise it's 72. Now, some people say, well, all right, you've got all this stuff stacked here. What about, uploading it into Equator? Well, that's perfect. I can merge this all into one document and upload it into Equator, or I can upload them separately. I can download these to Dropbox, or I already have them there, and I can upload them into Equator. But it's a good idea to get it stacked in the order that you want, and then download it in the order that you want it, and then put it in the order that you want it. But it's a good idea to do this and to use it as a guide. Okay. So that's how you stack a file. That's how you set up a file. Now, once it's into the bank, you call every day until they make sure that they got it, okay? And then you note your file, or you set yourself tasks to call back in 3 days, etc. All right? Once the bank receives it, then what you're doing, either through Equator or through email or through customer service, you're calling them every single day until they got it. Once they receive it, you're calling every 3 days. You're asking them, where's my evaluation? And if you don't know the negotiator's name, which you will inside of Equator, you're asking them for your negotiator if it's a bank that does not use Equator, which most of them don't, but some of two of the largest ones do. Okay? So that is what you do. And then you're going to get your counters and everything else. Make notes of all the counters. Whatever you need to do to get it done, just paw and scratch until you get that deal done. So